because there was nothing much to kind of talk about it. This is the last block of the first course. That is, there are 4 units here, and as I had mentioned on Friday also, that this unit is mostly about the entrepreneurship. So you will want to become an entrepreneur, you want to start your own business, have your own startup creation. Probably some of the points might be useful for you all, or anyone who wants to kind of be an entrepreneur. So it's all about entrepreneurship and skills identification and selection of business opportunities, business plan preparation and its analysis, and new enterprise creation and management. So starting with the first unit of this block, entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial skills. So who is an entrepreneur? What is entrepreneurship? So the term entrepreneurship is a French word which means to undertake. So whenever we say that we are going to start a new business or have our own startup, it means that we need to have something which is our own, and something that we are undertaking. So this undertake word is important here. All that an entrepreneur does is entrepreneurship. Anything that is done by that particular person, the person who is starting that enterprise, business, startup, jo bhi keh lo, there are lots of synonyms for that, is called an entrepreneur. And anything, any process, any steps taken by that person, by that entrepreneur, is actually entrepreneurship. It is a process in which an entrepreneur undertakes several activities that leads to setting up of a new venture. So as I said, you want to start a new business, there are many steps. You need to have an idea, you need to plan on that, you need to implement. So all these things, that the whole process is carried out in the entrepreneurship process. Now there are lots of various definitions according to various people. Please read it on your own. Many of the definitions are given depending on how individuals have termed it. Model of entrepreneurship. The theory of entrepreneurship has evolved over a long period of time. With the passage of time, this concept of entrepreneurship has also undergone a major change. Now it is a key driver of socio-economic development of a nation. Now, if you see, you must be hearing it in news, or in and around your friend circle, relatives, family. You must be knowing about this, that there are lots of people who actually leave their jobs. Someone is working in US in IT companies, or maybe SAP or e-commerce, and they just drop their high-paying jobs and they come back to India and they start their own business. They have their own startup. Or some of the homemakers, women who are actually sitting at home, they are taking care of their family, which is, I think, which is the one of the most important jobs in this world, and yet it is totally unpaid for. So all these women, they are actually starting with something, sitting at their comfort of their homes and things like that. So they are entrepreneurs. And there are different models of entrepreneurship. So this is one model that is called John Cow's model. This is important maybe for the 5 mark question. You can please read it properly, and if this question is asked in the exam, you must draw this graph also. Okay, so basically entrepreneurship hai, there are major 3 elements in that: the person, the task, and the organizational context. So the person, organizer, the task, and of course the environment is also there, which contributes a lot. So any startup, any task that one needs to carry forward or undertake, kind of depends on certain things. And the first one will be the person. Now, me being an individual, me being Richa, if I need to be an entrepreneurship, I have to say which side of the whole surrounding and environment and the things happening around me, which particular thing is that kind of interests me, and I will start my business. If I need to be an entrepreneur, I will do that. So particularly me as a human being, me as Richa, I might be good at designing, I might be good at baking. So these are the things that I might take up as a business. So the person, the idea, the whole kind of the notion that goes behind that entrepreneurial skill, or being an entrepreneur, or the process of entrepreneurship, That person is very important. The organizational, the task is something that what do you want to do with it. So I know that I am good at designing, but how about how to go about it? So how does that task matters? That is again one thing that one has to know very well and understand very well. The organization. Now if I'm getting if it's a very small business, I'm doing it on a very small scale, then it's fine. Otherwise agar mujhe koi organization join karna hai to start my to have my own business or my startup, then that particular organization also is very important. And the environment, as I have mentioned this earlier also, the socio-economic factors, the society, the culture, these things matters a lot in when we talk about apparel merchandising. And we are talking about entrepreneurship right now in general, but coming particularly to apparel business, coming particularly to export and clothing and textile or fashion business, the environment matters a lot. So if I go to a village and I start a boutique there with maybe western clothing, it's not going to work out. It's just not going to work out because the environment is not as such. So all these things, or all these 3 to 4 elements are very important. Who is an entrepreneur? The person who undertakes these entrepreneurial skills is called an entrepreneur. It is been derived. Now there are certain qualities that an entrepreneur must have. So they have a strong need of achievement, innovation, and affiliation. So there should be a sense of achieving. It should be there, because I am starting, whenever a person, I mean whoever it is, when they start a business, it is not out of just a hobby. I mean, until unless you are filthy rich, you are an Ambani product, then it's a different thing. Otherwise even Ambanis have different kinds of pressure. So whenever we start a new business, we have to have that thing ki it has to be a success. There should be that achievement, strong feeling of achievement. Without innovation, one can't. I mean, you have to be innovative, and you have to be somehow, maybe somewhere affiliated also. You have to, one has to, in fact, I would say, either if there's a possibility, one has to affiliate oneself or the business to with someone, maybe with a larger, bigger startup. Or these days you must have seen that Flipkart acquired Jabong, or Jabong ab band ho chuka hai. So what was the reason behind that? Because this is the affiliation thing, because Jabong have, maybe it was working very well, but Flipkart kind of acquired it, so it got affiliated to Flipkart, and they just dropped the name of Jabong, and they merged into this thing Flipkart. And the same with Myntra also, but then Myntra still stands because some of the shares they are still holding, while with Jabong it's not the case. The whole company has gone to Flipkart. So these things have to be there. They have risk taking ability. Of course, I mean, it's really not necessary. One has to be very optimistic, and that sense of achievement should be there, that if I'm working, I have to work out this business. But it's really not necessary कि 100% हमेशा business workout करे ही. तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि just in case workout नहीं किया, so I would just drop my idea and just sit at home and do nothing about it. One has to take risk. Self confidence is very important. One has to be very creative, of course. Think ahead of time. This is something that is important, because there's so much of competition in the market that if you make the same thing over and over and over again, there is nothing kind of different that you are doing. So you have to think ahead, you have to predict, you have to kind of forecast. So here comes the forecasting again. You have to forecast things that are not there in the market probably, or maybe possibly if you bring it in the market, and it will become a big hit. So out of the box thinking चाहिए and ahead of time. Knowledgeable होना चाहिए. One has to be very updated about what's going on in the fashion industry. Adaptable to changes, smell opportunities. Wherever there is an opportunity, one has to smell that and go for it. Very good planners, be proactive, competitive, not afraid of failure. As we said, one has to take risks. They have to be innovators, of course. Very good communication skills, strong work ethics, of course, and then very passionate about their I think this point should be the first one, because unless you are passionate about something, you are very you are in love with your work, or or whatever business. The work can be anything. I love teaching. I just love teaching, and I'm very passionate about this. So if you minus teaching from my life, I won't be the person that I am today. So the same way, everything, each and everything that you are, all of you who are there in the meeting right now, you all must be passionate about something. It can be maybe designing. It can be in terms of apparel industry. If I'm saying, it can be designing. It can be sketching. It can be production. It can be a merchandiser. Apart from that, if you can be a baker, you can be a very good entrepreneur into some e-commerce industry or something else. So but you have to be passionate about your work. Scope of entrepreneurship is in India. Now, until recently, I would say maybe 10 years back, scope bilkul hi nahi tha, because people were not at all risk taking. They were scared. They didn't know how to become an entrepreneur, and only the bigger businesses were there. Now you see so many people are actually leaving their jobs and becoming an entrepreneur. The reason behind that is people are ready to take risk. They are creative. They know what are the pros and cons of this, and they have a backup plan also. Now, having a backup plan is also necessary. I mean, you just put all your lakhs and crores of your savings into some business, and god forbid if it doesn't work, so there should always be a backup plan to fall upon. So अगर मैं एक I love baking. Even when I was working in Mumbai 5 years back, I had my own home baking a business. So, but I had this thing that if this baking business doesn't work, I have my teaching option to fall back on. I had a permanent job there also. So, this thing is very important, and that's why people are taking risk. And in last year, 10 years, it has kind of grown drastically and dramatically, I would say. So these things are there. And then entrepreneurship and economic development, how has it, continuous cycle of production driving the economic growth of a nation. So because of entrepreneurs, because of the process of entrepreneurship, there is increased demand in certain products. Increased purchasing power is there, because as an individual, as a customer, I'm saying this, I am going to a market and I have two options. Either I can buy it from, maybe from what here, um, um array, maybe H&M, or I have Zara as an option, or maybe Alan Solly, or maybe those 5, 10, 8 brands that are very prominent for women's wear. Now with so many startups, I have lots of options. I can go for the libas kurti. I don't have to go to Biba only to buy 5,000 type set. I can go for cheaper options as well. So many new startups are coming. You see all these big brands, whether it's W or libas or Aurelia. I think all the women sitting here might be knowing about these brands. They all are new startups. And even this sugar company, the cosmetic brand, this woman, she left her IIT job of maybe 80 to 90 lakh package for 1 year, and she started this cosmetic business. And lots of investors had rejected her, and now she is into crores, I mean, earning so well. So entrepreneurship ka bahut zyada scope hota hai, and that's the reason that we get more purchasing power as a consumer. Employment generation, of course, I mean, there is so much of employment generation now. I am, if one of you or me, I start a boutique, I should have maybe 2 to 3 tailors. I should have 1 or 2 salesperson. I should have someone who can source from the market. So I will kind of hire people, and that increases the employment opportunities. And then the production, of course. Why become an entrepreneur? So why one can become an entrepreneur? The first, and I think before going to these points, the first and foremost important point that why one can become an entrepreneur is because, as I said earlier, you are passionate about something. Unless you have a business that is running from last 50 years or generation wise, you are an Adani or Ambani product, then it's a different thing. You have a Bata or Liberty to carry forward, again a different thing. But if as an individual you need to start your own business right from scratch, एकदम beginning से root से start करना है, the most important quality, the most important point why you can become, or you should become an entrepreneur, is because you're passionate about that. You love doing it. You're in love with it. So you can't imagine your life without it. I can't imagine my life without teaching. So that's one, I think, according to me, that should be the top reason. Again, why become an entrepreneur? Because entrepreneurs, they can, if of course it goes well, they can reap unlimited income and growth. They can get opportunity, but of course there is a downside to that. Remember that. To get an opportunity to control their own destiny. Now, I don't have to, or maybe any entrepreneur, they don't have a boss basically. So you are your own boss, and that's one of the biggest reasons. Many people don't like working under, seniors or elder people, and there's no harm in that. I might be one of them, but situations are different. So anyway, opportunity बहुत ज़्यादा होती है, and you really don't have to work under someone. You can make your own destiny. Opportunity to reach their full potential. Many a times we have those jobs where we want to do so much. I want to teach so much, but I have this scarcity of 1 to 2 hours of counseling session only. And if I'm in a face-to-face conventional university where I have to teach this unit, I will finish this unit in maybe 2 to 3 classes, and those classes are 1 hour each. यहाँ पे I'm almost 100 pages I'm finishing in 1 hour. So that full potential कई बार हम नहीं reach कर पाते हैं, which that opportunity you can get as an entrepreneur. They can pursue a passion without any hindrance. There's not, they have you are their own, your own boss, and take challenges. Recognition होता है work का. Of course, people recognize you for who you are, not because you are working in this university or industry or whatever it is. People recognize you as this, as whatever, as ABC person, because you have your own name. They can work at their own schedule. There is no time to time wala thing. Make significant contribution, autonomy to think and act. You don't have to follow blindly like a herd of sheep, that the whole world is doing this. I have also, I must also do this. Just because 10 लोग भी चल रहे हैं तो हम भी उनके पीछे चलें, ये चीज नहीं है. You can think your own. You can have your own individuality, I would say. Introduce modern technology. Since it's your own business, whatever technology you want to incorporate, you can. Generate employment for others, and stay away from the rat race, as I said. Now, lots of businesses are there who have actually done that. Entrepreneurship, sources of supply and motivation. Now, entrepreneurship, of course, there are lots of factors here. जैसे कि background factors होते हैं, education, training and experience बहुत matter करता है. Family role models होते हैं, financial conditioning होती है. How much your family can back you up with finance, or even if they don't want to back you up, you can take loan from banks. And then family role models होते हैं. One of you might be very passionate about Manish Malhotra or Sabyasachi, and you want to become the second Manish Malhotra. Nothing wrong in that. Wonderful. So everyone has their own role models. Even I have lots of role models that I take, kind of try to incorporate certain behaviors from them so that I can become a better person. Education, training, and experience, of course, all these things. Motivational factors होते हैं. How much you are motivated, the people around you, how much do they motivate you. Now, you have such a lovely family who will say that beta, you just go ahead and you do this business, even if it's in loss. We are there to help you, we are there to back you up, we are there to support you, but do your best. All these things. So motivational बहुत ज़्यादा important होता है. Economic, again, you can take loans, and financial institutions होते हैं जहाँ से मिल सकता है. And of course, the biggest thing is if your family is there to help you. Reward, again, reward is something. Reward and award बहुत एक close call होता है ये दो words में, award and reward में. Award is something that people give you for something. Reward is something that you take it yourself. So you are doing something and people are recognizing you for that. That is in itself a huge reward. So it can be in various terms. सोशल एंड कल्चरल फैक्टर्स आते हैं जो कि इंपॉर्टेंट होते हैं. नाउ यही सारी चीजें ये फ्लो चार्ट के इसमें समझाया गया है. ये जो टॉपिक है एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, सोर्सेज एंड सप्लाई, सोर्सेज ऑफ सप्लाई एंड मोटिवेशन, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. प्लीज do make it a point to read this properly. And ये फ्लो चार्ट जरूर बनाना. बहुत इजी है. अगर आप समझ जाओगे बैकग्राउंड फैक्टर्स में क्या होता है, इकोनॉमिक फैक्टर्स में क्या होता है, तो ये फ्लो चार्ट बनाना कोई it's not a difficult task. Coming to prospects of entrepreneurship in apparel sector. Now, अभी तक जितना हमने किया था ना, although I was giving examples of apparel industry, but it was a very general term about entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship. Now, coming to apparel sector, you see India's capacity to make spanyas highest in the world after China. So there are many. When we talk about apparel industry, बहुत सारे clusters हैं. जैसे कि आप देख लो, तिरुपति है, सूरत है, अहमदाबाद है. Lots of clusters are there. Apparel, आजकल apparel पार्क्स बन रहे हैं, बहुत सारे बन चुके हैं, इनफैक्ट 10-20 years बैक से हैं, बट नए काफी सारे आ रहे हैं पैडल पार्क्स. तो these things are actually responsible for the whole, generation in the finance and economic condition of the apparel sector. And entrepreneurship plays a very important role because they are big, what do you say, units or industries or export houses that are already in play. But those small entrepreneurs who are coming up with, various ideas, and they are using technical textiles in home furnishings. I mean, technical textile, if you don't know, I'll just very briefly explain. Technical textiles are those textiles जो कि एक पर्टिकुलर फंक्शन को फुलफिल करते हैं, ठीक है. तो जैसे कि मैं अभी अगर एक कॉटन का कुर्ता पहन के बैठी हूँ, तो दैट इज नॉट अ टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल, बिकॉज देयर इज नथिंग innovative about it. There's nothing unique or different about it. It's a simple cotton kurta जिसके ऊपर एम्ब्रॉयडरी किया हुआ है, और I'm just wearing it. But the same kurta, if I give it a finishing which जब मैं बाहर निकलूं तो वो मुझे यूवी रेज से प्रोटेक्ट करे. सो इट हैज एंटी यूवी प्रॉपर्टीज, और it might be water resistant, or it might be water repellent, or it might be fire resistant. तो ये अगर मैं फायर में डाल भी दूं तो भी ये जलेगा नहीं. So some kind of technical speciality, if that textile is providing, it's called a technical textile. Okay, now lots of different technical textiles are there. Agriculture में use होता है, construction में होता है, medical textiles होते हैं, functional clothing होते हैं, lots of things are there. So with this growing entrepreneurs and entrepreneurships, many new innovative ideas are coming up. And in terms of what to say, normal regular clothing, I would say, or maybe apparels or textiles or even fibers and yarns also, and especially with technical textiles. Now the second unit talks about the identification and selection of business opportunities. How do you identify a business, or how do you select which business can be good? So first of all, what is an opportunity? Opportunity kya hoti hai? I mean, we use this word on a regular basis. So opportunity is something that any there is a problem and we need a solution for that, and I get the responsibility to do that or solve it. So I am kind of getting that opportunity. तो कहीं भी आपको अगर एक मौका मिल रहा है, एक चांस मिल रहा है, so that's the opportunity. When we talk about business opportunity, there are few elements that one has to consider. An idea for a product or service. So I had mentioned this in the beginning only कि जब भी कोई बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना है, एंटरप्रेन्योर बनना है, सबसे पहले एक आइडिया होना चाहिए, एक नोशन होना चाहिए. सो आई एम वेरी गुड एट बेकिंग, बट if someone asks me that you go and own a shop into a mall and start this business, I'm not confident about it. I'm good as a home baker. I'm good at having a business as a home baker. I did it for 5 to 6 years back in Mumbai, but you ask me to go and open a shop, I don't have that analytical skills or business what to say, brain or viability, feasibility to do that. So first of all, one has to have that idea of that product or the service that I'm going to start or give it to people. Then the technical feasibility, whether it's going to work or not work, the pros and cons of it. Market acceptance, मैंने एक boutique start तो कर दिया, but are the customers going to kind of accept and buy my product or the service whatever I'm providing? So market acceptance ka research karna is very important. Financial viability, we have already talked about it earlier, so I'm not going to kind of repeat the whole thing. Steps in finalizing a business idea. जो मेजर स्टेप्स होते हैं, कभी भी कोई बिजनेस आइडिया, मुझे एक बुटीक खोलना है या मुझे होम बेकर बनना है, क्या स्टेप्स होने चाहिए बेसिकली. जनरेशन ऑफ अ बिजनेस आइडिया, एज आई सेड देयर शुड बी एन आइडिया. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एक नोशन होना चाहिए कहाँ से आपको स्टार्ट करना है, तो उसकी ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग करनी है, टेक्निकल एनालिसिस करना है, क्या क्या टेक्निकल फीजिबिलिटी है, मार्केट एक्सेप्टेंस देखना है, एनालिसिस, एंड देन द फाइनेंशियल एनालिसिस, द कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस, हाउ मच यू आर गोइंग टू एक्चुअली इन्वेस्ट, हाउ मच यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग कि इन मे बी 2 to 3 years आई विल बी हैविंग प्रॉफिट, अभी तो ऐसे ही जाएगा, कहाँ से हम लोन ले सकते हैं, कहाँ से हम फाइनेंस उठा सकते हैं, ये सारी चीजें. ओके, नाउ दिस इज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग startup that what to say, you can read about case study. Sorry, there's a very interesting case study. So this person, regional office. Yeah. So this person, what he did was he left his job, and he is running a business where you can actually go to this site and uh, order prasad from various temples. Okay, so I need a prasad from Vaishno Devi, or I need prasad from maybe some Shirdi ka Sai Baba temple or Tirupati Balaji. So I just need to go to this site and order my prasad and pay the amount, and the prasad will be delivered at my home. So many people actually do that. They order things like that. And very interesting, ये तो बहुत शॉर्ट में दिया हुआ है, ऑनलाइन प्रसाद नाम है उस ऐप का, आप इसको डिटेल में भी पढ़ सकते हैं. Then there are other startup, Zomato का case study है. Read it on your own. So the person who started Zomato, I think he was an IIT alumni. The same way 2 3 other case studies are here. Please go through on your own, read it. These are very interesting. So when I say read it, please do read it, because if any one of you, I really don't know how many of you are interested. If you can let me know in the chat box later on that you are interested in some entrepreneurship, you have to follow some entrepreneurs, some successful entrepreneurs, and kind of study their case study, because that's how you get to know how their psychology worked and how they actually became such millionaires or billionaires or whatever they are today. Then opportunity identification and generation of ideas is the same thing. One has to think of you know um, what if I have an idea, how is it going to work, an opportunity uska hoga ya nahi, market feasibility, people accept karenge ya nahi, customers and consumers. So there are certain key questions that the entrepreneur has to ask themselves. Is the market फॉर द बिजनेस आइडिया एग्जिस्टेंट, जो भी बिजनेस आइडिया है आपका वो ऑलरेडी क्या एग्जिस्टेंट है मार्केट में या कुछ नया है उसमें? इज देयर अ कस्टमर बेस इन द मार्केट फॉर द प्रोडक्ट और सर्विस? अगर आप एक केक बेच रहे हैं तो क्या उसका मार्केट है, या मैं बुटीक बना रही हूँ तो क्या उसका मार्केट है? आर देयर पीपल हु आर गोइंग टू बाय दैट? All those things are already available in the market or not? Are there any gaps in the market? What are the associated risks? Worth taking the risk or not? Are there competitors? कौन है? I mean, मैं एक सस्टेनेबल ब्रांड अगर खोल लूं तो मुझे पता है कि द बिगेस्ट कॉम्पिटिटर विल बी फैब इंडिया. आई मीन, आई एम नॉट सेइंग फैब इंडिया इज 100% सस्टेनेबल, बट दे क्लेम टू बी सस्टेनेबल. तो वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट, एंड फैब इंडिया इज एवरीवेयर, लाइक राइट फ्रॉम नॉर्थ टू साउथ, ईस्ट टू वेस्ट, फैब इंडिया एवरी सिंगल सिटी, छोटे सिटी में भी है. So you have to see your competitors also. How can we deliver better performance? So you open Fab India है, और Fab India सिर्फ cities में है, but मैं कहीं पे बैठी हूँ जहाँ पे Fab India के products मुझे physically नहीं मिल रहे हैं, but I do need a sari of maybe Tessa silk of from Fab India. What do I do? So if Fab India doesn't provide their products online, that performance better करने का ये तरीका है. What are the things? How are the various ways where we can increase our reach, I would say, and deliver better performance or products, or whatever it is. What are the hurdles in transforming the business idea into a business venture? Ideas तो बहुत आते हैं दिमाग में. आज अगर मैं बैठूं अभी 1 घंटा में 100 आइडियाज लिख सकती हूँ बिजनेस के, लेकिन वो बिजनेस आइडिया को बिजनेस वेंचर बनाने में, आई मीन जस्ट द आइडिया को एक पूरा ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन देके एक प्रोडक्ट में कन्वर्ट करने में, एक बिजनेस शुरू करने में, is it feasible or not, and the whole process, what are the problems, what are the benefits, what are the issues that I'll be facing, all these things one has to think. Are there better alternatives available? Better alternatives हैं, अगर है तो उनमें क्या better है जो मेरे में नहीं है, और मैं कैसे, how can I actually improve to be better than other businesses? So lots of things are there. Okay, now this is another thing. Getting answers to the above mentioned questions can be categorized. So you need answers to all these questions, these things, before starting your business. Probably do this. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to analyze the consumers or the customers. Competitor analysis करना है, कौन कौन से competitors हैं, क्या अच्छा है, क्या problem है, क्या बुराई है, उनमें जो प्रॉब्लम्स है वो हम कैसे बेटर कर सकते हैं. रिस्क एनालिसिस करना है, इंडस्ट्री एनालिसिस करना है. ठीक है, रीड ऑन योर ओन, इट्स वेरी इजी. Very simple, I would say. Process of identification, evaluation, and selection of a business opportunity. How do you identify, evaluate, and select? So the first thing, identify the needs and wants of a consumer. As I said, I can list down 100 business opportunities in next 1 hour, but how many of them are actually going to be feasible and how many actually are going to work out? So that's a big question. So उसके लिए क्या करना है कि सबसे पहले consumers के needs मुझे पता होने चाहिए. What are the things that the consumers are looking for as of now? Do they I stay in Saket in Delhi, so people in and around me now, IGNOU, you all know, is a distance education. There are no students who come physically apart from research scholars. There are no physical there's no physical presence of students unless they have some official work, of course, administrative work. So यहाँ पे अगर इग्नू के अंदर मैं एक many universities have those stalls and shops and everything that comes outside the university. You go to DU, you go to JNU, you go to any other people sitting in Bangalore, you go outside BHD or you go outside Bangalore University, because I have worked in Bangalore University. That's why I'm saying that lots of options of food and clothing and lots of things. But if I need to start a business of a boutique and I do it outside my university, IGNOU, probably it won't work out because there are no prospective consumers who are going to buy my product. So identify customers को क्या चाहिए और हम कहाँ उन्हें दे सकते हैं. When, where, the SWOT analysis, what I told you, is very important. Examine the environment and self-evaluation. As I just mentioned, where am I? I mean, is it going to work out outside a distance university? I don't think so. So you have to see the environment and then self-evaluation करना है. Screening of business opportunities. Lots of business opportunities, lots of business ideas. अभी उसको बैठ के 100 ideas मेरे दिमाग में आए. I have to come down to maybe 1 or 2 to finalize it. So I'll come down to 10 and then I will finalize 5 and then the final 1 or 2 और फिर एक business opportunity को मैं final करूँगी और इसे start करूँगी. So screening करना is very important. Selecting a business opportunity, what are the options available, and accordingly you have to select. Preparing a business plan और फिर पूरा once you have finalized, then go ahead with the preparation of the business plan. Then there are elements that shape wants, कि क्या क्या हमारे जो desires हैं वो उनमें 4 major elements होते हैं. Customers profile, lifestyle of the customers, purchasing power of the customers, and level of education. Now me as working as an assistant professor working in IGNOU, I have all these probably qualities, that I have money, I have finance, I have this thing, I have that level of education. So if someone wants to start a business and they target all the professors of IGNOU, they will have a different kind of business idea कि मेरा target consumers तो ये लोग हैं, अब इनके क्या demands हो सकते हैं, इनकी क्या profile है, how do they live, what is their lifestyle, everything you have to research and then start the business. Scanning environment, there are 2 different types of environment, macro and micro. And of course others में और आता है. When we talk about environment, there are certain things: demographic composition, population का, income, taste and preference. I might prefer wearing saris and suits to office rather than western, though it's allowed in IGNOU. Still I'm just saying, so that taste and preference जानना बहुत जरूरी होता है. It's of the consumers, every individual consumer in fact I would say. Export import status क्या है, availability of local resources, availability of technology, industrial linkage, government, all these things. And then listed below are the factors that should be considered while self evaluation. Now you are analyzing the customer, you are analyzing your prospective kind of what to say, जो भी consumer होगा. But also it is very important to kind of self evaluate. Introspect करना भी बहुत जरूरी होता है, जिसमें कि आपको इंट्रोस्पेक्शन कर रहे हो तो क्या क्या करोगे, आपका क्या एक्सपीरियंस है, आपको बिजनेस में कोई एक्सपीरियंस है. इफ यू हैव जीरो एक्सपीरियंस इन बिजनेस लाइक मी, इफ यू आस्क मी टू स्टार्ट समथिंग ऑन अ बिग scale, I will say I'm so sorry, I'm very happy with my job and I might do something small on a very small scale from the comfort of my home. But if you I'll go ask and to me ask me to go out, move out of my comfort zone and start something big, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that, because I have zero experience and I don't come from a business family. Many kids, many people come from a business family, so they have seen it. I have always come from a family where people are professors and into ITs, and also I really don't know anything about business. So mera experience is zero personally. The same way you all must have some kind of experience when it comes to self evaluation. So do that. What kind of knowledge do you have? Financial condition क्या है, family situation and background क्या है, are there people who will, if you want to fall back, are they going to help you? The family situation, is the family situation such that you can fall back on your family if your business doesn't work? Likes and dislikes, relatives, friends, colleagues, acquaintances, पूरा network आपका क्या है? Because these people actually play a very crucial important role when it comes to starting your own business. Because business जब कोई नया startup हम छोटा सा शुरू करते हैं, पहले ही आप टीवी पे आके उसे स्टार टीवी और जी टीवी पे आके आप उसे प्रमोट नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज दैट रिक्वायर्स लैक्स एंड लैक्स ऑफ रुपीज फॉर वन 5 to 10 seconds का एड. सो व्हाट हैपेंस, वर्ड बाय माउथ जाता है. सो दीज आर द पीपल हु एक्चुअली आइदर टॉक गुड और दे टॉक बैड अबाउट योर बिजनेस. सो ये नेटवर्किंग होना बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है. सोशियो इकोनॉमिक एनवायरमेंट, ऑफ कोर्स एज आई सेड, स्वॉट एनालिसिस करना बहुत जरूरी होता है. स्ट्रेंथ, वीकनेस, अपॉर्चुनिटीज एंड थ्रेट्स टू योर बिजनेस. क्या स्ट्रेंथ है, क्या वीकनेस है, क्या अपॉर्चुनिटी है, क्या. एंड ये स्वॉट एनालिसिस सिर्फ आपके बिजनेस के लिए नहीं होती है. इट्स नॉट फॉर योर ओन स्टार्टअप, इट्स ऑल्सो फॉर द कॉम्पिटिटर. सो उसका स्ट्रेंथ क्या है, फैब इंडिया का क्या वीकनेस है, हाउ एम आई गोइंग टू मेक माई सस्टेनेबल ब्रांड बेटर देन देम. सो ये सारी चीजें हैं जो कि स्वॉट एनालिसिस में आती हैं. स्क्रीनिंग ऑफ बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटी, हाउ यू कैन स्क्रीन देम, वी हैव ऑलरेडी टॉक्ड अबाउट इट. स्टेप्स इन स्क्रीनिंग, चेक द वर्केबिलिटी ऑफ द आइडिया, वेदर द आइडिया विल वर्क और नॉट. क्विक स्क्रीनिंग करना है, सेगमेंटेशन हो जाएगा आपका स्क्रीनिंग ऑफ द आइडियाज में. Okay, so there are the points. Please go through it on your own. Selection of business opportunities. How do you select? Identification of business goals करना है, personal goals है, industry research and all those things. Tips for selection of business opportunities. Certain tips are there. If you are interested, please do go through them. Factors that contribute to a business opportunity. Personality of the entrepreneur matters a lot. I mean, if you have a very charming and very strong and very attractive personality, which I'm sure all of you must be having, if you are starting your own business, people will look at you. I mean, you go. I'm sure this might be happening with all of you. You go to the market, I mean, especially with youngsters, I'm saying, because I have seen this with many of my students, and they actually used to come and share this with me. Ki, ma'am, we went to this shop and we saw a very nice, sales girl or a sales boy, very charming personality. And even if we didn't want to buy it, so the product, we just went into the shop and ended up buying something just because we liked the person there. So as an entrepreneur also, if you have a very good personality, half the problems will be solved. Basically, I'm talking about the physical things. Business environment देखना है, business plan preparation and analysis करनी है, of course. So that's about your this unit. And then the third unit is your business plan preparation and analysis. Now ये सारी चीजें आपने analyze कर लिया, सब कुछ कर लिया, अभी business plan कैसे बनाना है. So business plan जो होता है, first of all, see, there are these things, these three things are important: supplier, vendor and investor. So जब भी आप कोई business plan करते हैं, आपने पूरा कर लिया कि this is the idea, this is what I'm going to start. So the one of the most important things that you have to see is कि who is going to supply my product. Who are the people who will sell my product? Supply, when I say, I'm talking about raw materials. मतलब मुझे कुर्ती बनानी है या 1000 pieces बनाना है, तो उसके लिए कपड़ा चाहिए, accessories चाहिए, zippers चाहिए होंगे, बहुत कुछ चाहिए होगा, buttons and all. So who is going to give me the raw material? When I say vendors, who is going to sell my product? Retail कौन होगा, कौन करेगा? And then the investors. This investor, if you have a small business, it can be, a bank loan, it can be someone from your family, or if it's a huge business, you have to find investors. People are there, बहुत बड़ी बड़ी companies होती है, बहुत सारे shell companies होते हैं जो कि investing करते हैं, especially in some business, and then they gain profit out of that. So thus we can see that business plan is एक reality check होता है to start, and when you are starting a new idea, convert it into a business enterprise. A document used for getting funds for the business, strategic plan, all these things are there. Analysis of entire industry, description of business model, and much more. बिजनेस प्लान ऑब्जेक्टिव्स है, गो थ्रू इट। बेनिफिट्स ऑफ बिजनेस प्लानिंग, अभी बिजनेस प्लान तो कर लिया है बट उसके ऑफ कोर्स कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स, कुछ प्रोस एंड कॉन्स होते हैं। बेनिफिट्स ये होते हैं कि व्हेनेवर यू डू अ बिजनेस प्लान इट कंपल्स यू टू कंसिडर एसेंशियल गोल्स एंड पॉलिसीज। सी इट्स वेरी easy to think about doing something, and it's slightly difficult. I won't say very difficult because it all depends on our self confidence and our passion and everything, how much we want to work on that. So but it's slightly difficult to actually put it into action. सो जब भी हम बिजनेस प्लानिंग करते हैं तो वो काइंड ऑफ आपको फोर्स करता है टू कंसिडर योर एसेंशियल गोल्स। आई माइट थिंक एज एन इंडिविजुअल आई एम वेरी गुड एट ए, but when I try to start that A, I might feel maybe I'm not that good and maybe I should go with B. So इसेंशियल गोल्स जो होते हैं, पॉलिसीज जो होते हैं, हमारे स्ट्रेंथ एंड वीकनेसेस जो होते हैं, इसको आइडेंटिफाई करने में इट हेल्प्स यू। दिस हेल्प्स इन क्रिएटिंग ए कंड्यूसिव एनवायरनमेंट फॉर स्टार्टिंग ए न्यू एंटरप्राइज। एक सपोर्टिव एनवायरनमेंट देता है न्यू एंटरप्राइज क्रिएट करने के लिए। प्लीज गो थ्रू ऑल दीज पॉइंट्स आर देयर। Many barriers to business planning: lack of knowledge of starting a business. As I said, if you tell me I'm zero at that, I can't do it. So not a big business, small I have done, so I know that, but no, not a big one. Lack of knowledge of market conditions, क्या मार्केट कंडीशंस है, क्या अच्छा है, क्या चल रहा है, अगर मुझे लैक्स ऑफ रुपीज का लॉस हुआ है तो क्यों हुआ है, मैंने ऐसा मार्केट में क्या नहीं किया, वेयर आई लैक्ड बिहाइंड, ऑल दीज थिंग्स हैव टू बी known. Involves cost, of course, fear of failure, it is there, even I have that. I think 90% of the human beings would have that. Short sightedness hoti hai very few people mein, which is a very negative thing. You should always think big. People say na, think big, so you have to think far also, you have to think long. Short term सोचेंगे तो फिर बहुत कम सक्सेस मिलता है। Lack of positive ideas for the future, of course, and lack of creativity. If you don't have creativity, if you don't have that passion, you don't have that interest, it isn't going to work out. Outline of a business plan, certain things are there, mission and vision statement, all these information is actually kind of overlapping. So अगर आप थोड़ा सा इसे ध्यान से पढ़ोगे ना तो बहुत ज्यादा रट्टा मारने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। You don't have to mug up the whole thing, you can just understand and remember everything that's there. Creating a new enterprise, questions can be answered, these things are there. Then again, structure for a business plan, startup venture, और क्या क्या होना चाहिए, कवर पेज है। अगर आपने एक बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर दिया तो फिर एक सिंपल सा बिजनेस प्लान, हाउ डू यू वांट टू शो इट ऑफ टू पीपल, टेबल ऑफ कंटेंट्स होगा, उसका समरी होगा, ऑल दिस स्वॉट एनालिसिस, इंडस्ट्री बैकग्राउंड, all these things should be there, and all these things are actually about your business, the business that you are going to start. छोटे छोटे डिस्क्रिप्शन है सभी का, प्लीज गो थ्रू इट, रीड इट वेल. Presenting the business plan to the investors. Now, as I said, कि if you have the investor, if it's a small thing, bank loan से या family से मिल गया, wonderful. If big investors के पास आपको जाना है, तो फिर what do you need to do? So as I just mentioned earlier कि सबसे important है एक business plan होना. Because you're going, for example, I come to one of you and I say कि Mr. A, B, whatever you are, give me 1 crore, I want to start this business. And you tell me, so show me your business plan. What are you going to do actually? I know you don't have that business plan on paper. Just verbally, orally, it's not going to work out. So a business plan hona to show the investors, to convince them that when you are doing this, you will work it out and you will make it a success. वो बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी होता है. ठीक है. So in a nutshell, these are the following things which are important. Decide about the kind of investors. मुझे अगर investor चाहिए तो मुझे पता होना चाहिए कि मुझे किस तरह का investor चाहिए. When I started my business, as I said, it was very small scale from the comfort of my home, and I used to take orders only on a daily basis, not in tons and hundreds and thousands of pieces. I didn't have a shop, of course, so I didn't need any investor. Whatever I was earning, I could actually invest in that. So I was pretty secure. But if you have a big business, you have to think about investors. तो मुझे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स का करना है तो मुझे किस टाइप के इन्वेस्टर के पास जाना है, मुझे अगर क्लोथिंग बिजनेस में जाना है तो what kind of investors would actually invest in me. So all these things one has to know. Choose potential investors. Now what kind आपने choose कर लिया, अभी उसमें से potential investors you have to sort out. In the sense, you have 10 kinds of investors. Now you have to sort out कि उसमें से 5 कौन से हैं जो कि probably आप में potential investors बन सकते हैं, आपके business में invest करेंगे. Know your business plan very well. You just give them the file, but then explaining has to be verbal. You don't have to kind of see the pages, read it out. that doesn't work, doesn't give a very good impression. Know your investors well. You have to know yourself well, you have to know your business plan well, but also you have to know your investors well, because that's how you will be able to either convince them or it's not going to work out. Know the requirements of the investor. Lots of points are there, please देख लो इसे. Keep adequate timelines, specific and concise होना चाहिए, strong finishing होनी चाहिए, बहुत ही impressive होना चाहिए. So all these things are there about your business plan. एवरी यूनिट व्हेन यू एक्चुअली आप जब एंड में आते हो ना, तो लेट्स सम इट अप करके आता है. तो बेसिकली ये पूरे यूनिट को बहुत ही शॉर्ट में समराइज किया हुआ होता है. तो अगर आप ये भी थोड़ा सा, देन देयर आर मेनी कीवर्ड्स. ये मुझे शायद पहले क्लास में बताना चाहिए था, व्हिच आई फॉरगॉट, आई एम वेरी सॉरी अबाउट दैट. बट देयर आर सर्टेन कीवर्ड्स, जैसे आपको इन्वेस्टर्स कौन होते हैं अगर आपको नहीं पता है तो आप यहाँ पे पढ़ के जान सकते हो. रेफरेंसेस आपको दिए गए हैं, तो अगर आपको लगता है कि ये पार्ट मुझे एग्जैक्टली नहीं समझ में आया, आई नीड further detailed information, of course you can look for books, you can go to Google and search. but हमने जहाँ से यूनिट राइटर्स ने जहाँ से ये लिया है, आप इन बुक्स को भी रेफर कर सकते हो. एंड देन जस्ट अ स्मॉल काइंड ऑफ चेक योर प्रोग्रेस काइंड ऑफ. so there is a question, you can just check whether you are right or not about it. And the last unit of this blog and this complete course one is new enterprise creation and management. So you have the business plan, you have got the investor. Now आपका enterprise create हो चुका है या होने के process में है. So there are certain steps which are required for the new enterprise creation. Realizing the entrepreneurial potential. Now you have the entrepreneur, you are the entrepreneur, you have the entrepreneurship, you have the enterprise, you have created that enterprise, and now you have to kind of realize the potential of that. Business opportunity identification selection, examining and assembling the resources. Investor to mil gaya, thankfully you have got a good investor, but how about planning the whole resource? ये भी बहुत ज़्यादा important होता है, because otherwise if you don't have the knowledge for kind of examining and assembling the resources, you just end up wasting that invested money or the finance which has come from the investors, and of course business won't work out. Forming an enterprise, implementing the entrepreneurial strategy, and planning the future. Don't be short-sighted. Don't think immediate. Don't make immediate plans. Always think big, think large, think about future. What is a business enterprise? Now business enterprise क्या होता है? Business venture, जो आप कोई भी business start करते हो उसे हम business enterprise बोलते हैं. Business risk क्या होता है कि दो चीजों का बना हुआ आता है business risk: controllable risk, uncontrollable risk. Now controllable risk वो होते हैं which are in our hands. For example, I need to invest maybe 1 lakh rupees in 5 different raw materials. What I do is कि I think of investing only 50,000 just to control that part. कि अगर ये raw material से अच्छा नहीं बना मेरा product, तो मेरे पास हर वो 5 जगह पे I have the backup, I have that buffer amount of 50,000 left. So I'm not going to invest the whole thing there, not going to invest 1 lakh. So that is controllable risk. Uncontrollable. So अगर नुकसान भी हुआ तो I'll have that buffer amount. I have that 50,000, as backup from all the 5 areas of the raw materials, and I can, control that risk. So I can take the risk once again and invest the 50,000 that I have. Uh, Uncontrollable risk is something that you have put the money. You have put 5 different places, pay 50, 50, 50 each, and 2,50,000. The market crashed. Okay, स्टॉक मार्केट नहीं चला, वो प्रोडक्ट फैशन में ही नहीं है. फैशन में था बट समहाउ दिस ईयर आपने बिल्कुल परफेक्ट फोरकास्टिंग की. यू फोरकास्टेड वेरी वेल, यू प्रेडिक्टेड वेरी वेल, यू न्यू दिस इज गोइंग टू बी इन द मार्केट फॉर नेक्स्ट 2 years, but somehow the consumers changed their mind and it didn't work. Now that's beyond your control. The stock, the market, the finance, the economy, how these shares they work, those are uncontrollable risks. So ये दोनों मिला के business risk बनता है. Requirements of a new enterprise. What are the requirements? Taking initiative. Of course, you have to take a new initiative, opportunity, identification, selection. As I said earlier, also कि काफी overlapping points हैं, तो बहुत कुछ आपका वही same आएगा. Analyzing the feasibility, profitability, developing and enterprise, arranging the resources. What are the different kinds of resources? Managing operations growth. Forms of business enterprise. बहुत तरह के business enterprise होते हैं. Sole proprietorship होती है, partnership firms होते हैं, joint Hindu family, cooperative. Like all these are different types of those business small organizations that जो कि हमारा बिजनेस एक तरह से या ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को फॉर्म करता है। फीचर्स ऑफ वेरियस फॉर्म्स ऑफ बिजनेस ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जो हमने अभी बोला, सिंगल ओनरशिप क्या होती है जिसमें टू और मोर पर्सन्स आर देयर। जॉइंट हिंदू फैमिली में अगर आप देखो तो देयर शुड बी एटलीस्ट टू मेंबर्स इन द फैमिली। वॉलंटरी एसोसिएशंस, यू कैन जस्ट गो थ्रू इट, it's given in the form of a table, it's very easy, रट्टा मारने की जरूरत नहीं है, it's not very important from the question point of view, but understanding के लिए please you can. um, Implementing the entrepreneurial strategies related to operations, marketing, financial operation, marketing, financial क्या होती है ये आपको already पता है. Planning the future for the business growth, you necessarily have to keep on assessing the current performance. Very important that you have already started an enterprise, you have the business, but अगर आप अपना analysis नहीं करोगे, अपना as I said SWOT नहीं करोगे, SWOT analysis, what are your strengths, weakness, opportunities and threats, and how are your competitors working, and how can you actually इम्प्रूव योरसेल्फ, तो फिर बिजनेस ऑब्वियसली डाउन ही जाएगा। अगर जियो अभी 4G से 5G नहीं गया होता तो देयर आर ऑलरेडी, एयरटेल हैज ऑलरेडी गॉन फ्यू इयर्स बैक ओनली, सो लॉस में जाता ऑफ कोर्स बिकॉज पीपल आर शिफ्टिंग टू 5G नाउ। So that way it's always better to introspect oneself as a person, as a business, as an enterprise, whatever it is, and then kind of um, regrow the whole thing. Set a vision for your business growth. एक aim होना, एक vision होना is important. Prepare a business plan for the growth. Of course, you already have the enterprise, but आगे के business plan के you need to grow your business. You have one shop today, you are targeting 10 shops in next 2 years. So उनका भी तो business plan होना चाहिए. Constantly plan the ways and means to grow. Of course, be innovative, create effective marketing strategy, plan for obtaining required finance कहाँ से मिलेगा 10 shops के लिए, effectively manage your growth, do succession planning well in time. Now I am old enough, I can't handle my business. Who is going to take over? Is it my son, my daughter, my brother, my sister, my someone? I don't have a next generation, so I need to plan the next generation. So who is going to succeed you basically? Plan for recruitment and development of human resources. Where is it going to come from? Market selection and positioning. Yeah, if you remember, we had done this in the first unit about positioning and targeting and market selection. So ये बहुत important है. Market segmentation, identify. ये already we have done. I'm not going to repeat this. Market targeting, positioning. कहाँ पे आप position करोगे? All these things. ग्रोथ एंड एसोसिएटेड चैलेंजेस, ऑफ कोर्स आप एक बिजनेस कर रहे हो, चैलेंजेस उसके साथ आएंगे. इनइफेक्टिव मैनेजमेंट हो सकता है, लैक ऑफ इनोवेशन हो सकता है, इनइफेक्टिव मैनेजमेंट ऑफ ह्यूमन रिसोर्स हो सकता है, इनसफिशिएंट इन्वेस्टमेंट स्किल्स एंड टेक्नोलॉजी दोनों ही ना हो आपके पास, बिजनेस प्रोसेस सही नहीं है, अडेप्टेबिलिटी नहीं है, यू आर नॉट रेडी टू चेंज. दिस इज अगेन अ केस स्टडी दैट आई एम गिविंग यू एन एग्जांपल. इट इज नॉट रिलेटेड टू अपैरल इंडस्ट्री, बट ये क्विकली मुझे यही दिमाग में आया, ध्यान में आया. You all must be knowing about Nokia brand, right? Phone brand. So Nokia 1100, if you remember 1100 Nokia phone, that was my second phone in fact. And अभी भी हम मजाक में अपने friends के साथ जब बात करते हैं, we say that you throw a Nokia phone, the wall might break, my face might break, but the Nokia phone is not going to break. So when Nokia phone was so much into market, it was the top selling Nokia phones at that time. Maybe I'm talking about when I was in hostel. I remember 2006-7 May, around 17 to 18 years back. I'm saying this. Nokia was top in the market. What happened was smartphones came in. Okay, this touch screen wala. Nokia said we are doing so well with her phones, with those keypad wala phones. Why should we change? They denied the process of adaptability. They had the lack of adaptability. And what happened? स्मार्टफोन इतना ड्रास्टिकली मार्केट में आया कि 2 से 3 साल में every single brand, whether it was Indian, bahar ke Chinese brands, all these Sony and all those brands, I can't even remember, Motorola or Samsung or whatever they are, iPhones, they all kind of overtook the market and Nokia went down. Nokia ekdam almost loss pe chala gaya tha. There was zero profit in Nokia. And after a decade, after 10 to 12 years, they realized what the mistake that they had done. But they didn't have the chance, they didn't have the finance, and they didn't have the time to come back. Now, of course, आप देखो Nokia के कुछ smartphones आ रहे हैं, it's coming back. But whenever you think about Nokia, whenever you think about smartphones, Nokia will never come to your mind. Either आप Sony सोचोगे, Samsung सोचोगे, iPhone सोचोगे, or Redmi or Xiaomi or whatever those, I can't even pronounce half of them. But all these brands will come to your mind. How many of you think about Nokia? But 20 years back, Nokia was my favorite because इतना मजा आता था वो कीपैड यूज करने में, वो नीचे गिर भी जाए तो टेंशन नहीं होता था. आज मेरा फोन नीचे गिर जाए, आईफोन के 10 टुकड़े हो जाएंगे. So that was, lack of adaptability that Nokia had done, which no one should do actually, whether the business is small or large. Lack of sensitivity to external environment. We must be very sensitive about the external environment because that affects the business, a person, anything, a lot. Inadvocate competitor strategy. अगर हमारे पास competitor क्या कर रहा है, उसकी strategy क्या है, if we don't know that, we won't be able to improve. So of course that's another reason. Strategies of growth, lots of strategies how you can grow, actually increasing sales to customers, existing customers. Look for market segments, going global. Of course globalization is the biggest important thing. Diversification of products and services, joining hands with business enterprise. Nothing wrong, I mean no one is asking you to sell your business, but having a joining hand, having a kind of a support from other business is not going to harm your business. Getting your hands on other enterprises, try to acquire them. As I said, Flipkart acquired Jabong, या Myntra ने एक joining hands किया, 10 मिनट बाद आइएगा. Get your hands on the other advertisers. Strategic alliances should be there. Franchise owner is very important. I mean, you see KFC, McD, H&M, Zara, what are the big brands? Yeah, Reliance, Pantaloons, Westside, सबकी franchisee है, whether it's clothing or food or whatever it is. I want a KFC today, I don't have to go to 10 kilometers, I can just go to 3 kilometers PVR and I'll get it near Saket. So franchise होना, एक ही brand name की बहुत सारे shops होना, but one has to maintain the quality of that particular brand. Okay, so that's about this. So this is the end of your first course, the last unit of the last block. And if there's any doubt, please do ask me. So okay, this is I think Hema ma'am, you can answer this.
Yes, madam.
10 minute बाद. ले लीजिए, ले लीजिए कोई. Yeah, I think there is a question, ma'am. You can just in the chat box.
Yes, madam, from Bangalore.
Yeah.
Madam, we do not have academic counselors for this program as of now. That's what I just wanted to ask you. No.
So
we will receive and send it to you. Otherwise, we will find out, madam, from here only. What do you suggest?
Yeah, I think we will find it out and then
Yes,
let
madam.
them know.
I will ask them to submit to our regional center. Then
Yeah.
I will discuss with you, ma'am.
Yeah, sure.
Just
So
help me, madam, to find out some academic counselor in Bangalore. We are also finding out.
Right.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So Anaga, I think we give us maybe 1 or 2 days, and RC Bangalore and or me, I will get back to you regarding this. And normally, what happens is that you submit it in the study center or your nearest RC. So that is what you are going to do. But maybe you can wait for 1 or 2 days. We'll get back to you definitely about that. Roshni, support from government for entrepreneurs. You don't get very big support from government for entrepreneurs, Roshni. No, you go on the skill development website and you'll find maybe some of the what you say, those what is that called? कुछ है, I think there are some schemes going on, but I'm really not sure which kind of business you are talking about, because right now the whole government is focusing on this skill development. So if you have something related to skill, probably you might find some scheme or some investment, but otherwise I'm really not sure how much support you will get from the government. I'm sorry about that. Private, you can look for it. Any question, any doubt regarding this? Because we have ended our first course today, and we have 4 more sessions for the course 2, which will be starting from 12th. Because as I had mentioned earlier, that there is a Gyan Darshan big something happening tomorrow, so I will be busy with that. And 11th, I'm not sure if I'll be available for the counseling. So I've given the schedule for 12th and 13th in this week, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday and Tuesday next week
Yes, madam.
for course 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, any other doubt, anything, you can ask me right now, or you can let me know in the WhatsApp chat or mail or whatever. Or we can end the session
Okay,
if
madam. I have pasted RC Bangalore address in the chat box.
right.
Anaga, and whatever the mail we send from here, it has our address also. You, the students can send, RC Bangalore students can send to region center.
Yeah.
We'll arrange for evaluation.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, ma'am. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. We can wind up the session.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye bye.